Chris Hipkins knew that your teenagers could get heart disease from the COVID vaccine. He lied to you about it. He lied to the Royal Commission about it. It could have prevented the Parliament protest. Everything is an absolute mess. Let's get into it.
Rory Meehan's death likely from the vaccine. Do you have a message for his family, and what do you say about the risk of myocarditis?
Look, I'll hand to the technical experts to talk about the risk of myocarditis, but my overall message to all New Zealanders is that the vaccine is a very safe vaccine, and that any small risk associated with the vaccine is by far outweighed by the risk of getting COVID-19.
So New Zealand has recently had the Royal Commission inquiry into the COVID response, and in that response they noted that the COVID vaccine advisory group had said there was insufficient evidence to say that under 18s should get a double dose because of the risk of myocarditis. Chris Hipkins, who was the COVID response minister at the time, said that he never saw that advice. He had no idea. He just didn't know. He told everyone that, and it was in all the papers. Like, guys, he just didn't know. It was really busy. There was so much going on, except he lied. Now, this is made possible thanks to, dare I say it, a good journalist at the Herald. Congratulations, Derek. Right, what a good article, holding them accountable. So here is the Health New Zealand website. This is the document that they're talking about in the article. If you want to look it up, I'll just have it up here so you can screenshot it, but I will also link it below as well for you. So in this advice, Chris Hipkins writes, he signs it, and he notes it out. This was put out in March of 2022, but he notes the advice back in December 2021. The very advice that he told the Royal Commission he didn't know about. And it said the CV, which is the COVID Vaccine Advisory Group, developed advice early in December 2021, noting that the individual health risk of COVID-19 to under 18s was low. The risk of transmissions under 18s was insufficient to justify mandating a two-dose schedule. A two-dose schedule, particularly administered in the shortest time possible, which is what they did, may add an unnecessary risk of myocarditis in this population. Requiring vaccination certificates for children could unintentionally exclude them from educational activities. Myocarditis is inflammation of the heart. We are talking about heart disease. We are talking about the possibility of death for children, massive, ongoing, long-term health repercussions for children that they lied about. The reason the Parliament protest happens was we'd had mandates for a while, but they mandated the kids. So they mandated the 12 to 18s. They couldn't go to school sports. They couldn't go into time zone. They couldn't go and do anything with their friends. They couldn't go out. They couldn't do a whole lot of stuff. So they mandated the under 18s. Parents absolutely lost it, which they rightly should have. This advice shows that they knew that there was a risk of heart disease to your children if they mandated it. They did it anyway. They didn't care. And he's still lying about it. I made a video last week, I think it was, talking about his wife had come forward with allegations against him, and all the media were saying to me, and even independent people were saying, you can't talk about someone's private life. And I said, no, he's a liar. I'm going to talk about it. He's a liar. He lies. Your children's hearts are at risk because they did not tell you how important this information was prior to doing the mandates. They did not tell you. You didn't know. You as a parent were trusting the government. You did not know. They intentionally withheld information from you because it could have stopped you vaccinating your kids. And then your kids end up with heart problems. It could be long-term, could be deadly. Parents should have known this the entire time. Informed consent is telling people about the risk, letting them make a decision. We did not have informed consent in this country. What we had was coercion, lies, bullying. That's what we had in this country. We were told you weren't allowed to participate in normal everyday life. And now they're trying to frame people that were concerned about the jab at the time, that were concerned about how rushed it was, the lack of long-term safety data, the lack of what seemed like safety data at all, the lack of data showing that it actually reduced transmission because they didn't have it. People that raise those concerns are now being framed as far right-wing supremacists, potentially domestic terrorist threats, for questioning the government who lies over and over and over again. COVID gave me way too much free time to start questioning our government. That was a mistake, guys. You should have kept me busy. But thank you, Derek. Great article. This was the article here. Chris Hipkins say he never got the unnecessary advice on the risk to teenagers. Liar. Liar. Your pants can't even be on fire because they burnt down a couple of years ago.